Okay, so first thing we did is draw a couple of circles on the, come on mouse, on the left side of your screen, and a couple of lines on the right of your screen. So circle there, and a circle there, something like that, and a couple of lines over here, something like that. Real quick, I'm going to add some line weight to those for mine, so we can see those a little bit better. Okay, from there, we came down and we just looked at the O-snaps. So here is your O-snap button. Remember the square with the little square in the corner of it? If you hit the down arrow beside it there, you'll see all these different O-snaps. We started off just by looking at the first three, endpoint, midpoint, and center. So again, hit this little down arrow beside, turn on endpoint, midpoint, and center, and let's come out here to the screen and take a look how those are used. All right, first, I just went L for line out here, and just came over here to the line and hovered over it. Notice how the green triangle appears there at the midpoint of that line. If I move towards the other end, the endpoint appears, and that's kind of O-snaps. By this point, you're somewhat familiar with them, but that's kind of the endpoint, and all I did here is I just drew a nice little triangle shape out there in the middle of that using the midpoint and endpoint O-snaps. And I'm going to get my line weight back here, and there we go. Okay, from there, I went line again. Came over here and hovered over top of the circle. When you hover over top of the circle, notice that the center point appears. So if I click out here on the edge of the circle, a line appears to the center of it, and you snap to it. I'm going to hit escape to get off my line command. Then I'm going to go there in the center of the circle, put my cursor in the center of that other circle, and I'm going to go going to go L for line. And notice nothing appears. I can't lock into the center point of that circle. It's because I haven't yet told it what I want to find the center of. So as soon as I go out and touch the edge of the circle, then that center point O-snap will appear, and I can go back to that center point and draw a line up like so. As we're doing these, if you're just making your drawing kind of similar to mine, you know, this little triangle shape over here, line from the center to the center, center out, I see that you're following with me and things are good. All right, let's look at our next three. So we're going to turn off those three. We're going to turn on geometric center, node, and quadrant. Okay, geometric center, node, and quadrant. All right, first off, line, L for line. If you come out here to the circles, you hover over the top, the bottom, the right, and the left of the circle, you'll notice a little diamond appears. That's the quadrant O-snap. If you've already done lesson 5, you've seen that there in lesson 5. But we can click and draw a little square shape there going to the quadrants of that circle, and that's beautiful. Okay. From there, what I did is I went ahead and I drew another line, just down here on the bottom of the screen somewhere, something approximately like that. And what we have to do here is we have to use a different command, which is the divide command. So we're going to go div for divide. I'm going to click on that line on the bottom, and it asks me number of segments. I'm going to go 3 segments. Now with that, it doesn't look like it did anything to that line at all. However, if I go L for line again now, if I go back here to hover over that line, notice I have some different O-snaps appearing. Right there, I have that one. It's a circle with an X on it. It's called the node. That's what it is when I divide those little points there. So there I'm going to put a line to that node, and put a line to that node, and just come down a little bit. And that's that line divided into 3 exact equal segments. All right, what was our other one we had here? Oh yeah, geometric center. For geometric center, we need another shape on the screen. We need a polygon. So I'm going to go POL for polygon, and hit enter. It asks me number of sides. I'm going to do an 8-sided polygon. And then it asks me for center point. I'm going to go out here. It asks me inscribed or circumscribed. Once you do lesson 5, you're going to find the differences of those. So just pick one and pull out an octagon. Beautiful little octagon. Now, if we go L for line, if you hover over that octagon, notice it gives you a circle with a little almost star in the center of it. It finds the center of that circle. Now, if I go over here to this triangle shape, it doesn't find the center of it because this is not actually a triangle. It's more so 3 individual lines that formed a triangle. This one is actually a polygon. It's one object. That's why you can find the center of that geometric shape. Alrighty, so next, let's look at these next ones. I'm going to turn off those 3. This we're going to turn on intersection, extension, and perpendicular. I skipped over insertion. Insertion's one that we really aren't going to get to right now, and I don't ever use insertion at all. But it's if you insert in things called blocks into AutoCAD, or you insert images into AutoCAD. The bottom left corner is the insertion point, and you can connect to that with lines, circles, arcs, and all that. Not real useful, but these other ones are. All right, so first off, I'm going to come back here on the screen. I'm going to go L for line. If I hover over top of here where a line and an arc or a line and an octagon or whatever cross, I'm going to get the little X. That's the intersection. So there and there, okay, down to there. Wherever two things meet or cross are intersections. You can draw a couple lines for intersections and play with that for a second. Okay. Next, what was our next one we had? All right, extension. Extension's kind of a crazy one. You need to have your polar tracking on, and you need to have your object snap tracking on. If you have those two things on, just watch here for a second. You can see what you can do. So I'm going to go a line to here, let's say. Oops. And I want to attach to the end of that, so I'm actually going to turn my end point back on. Hold up. End point back on. All right, once again, I'm going to go line to there. And now, this line, I want to extend this line, so I'm going to hover over it. Notice that little dashed line appears. So I'm extending this line out to that angle, and I can draw things out to that extension. So here, I'm just going to keep going and drawing things out to that extension. I'm going to track off of it out to there. And that's kind of the way extension works. Oops, I missed it. Too close to the edge of my screen. There we go. But now all these, if you can kind of visualize it going up, those are straight in line with this line of the extension from that line. So just play with that for a second and get a couple extensions in there. Okay, next, the last one that we have here on this set is perpendicular. So, for example, in this one, around our octagon, I'm just going to come out here outside of our octagon, start a line out here, line, and now I'm going to go back towards my octagon. Notice when I go back towards it, I have that little perpendicular symbol showing up. So if I click anywhere, I'm going to click clear over here, and it goes and makes that line at a perfect perpendicular angle. You can again go out here anywhere, go up to that one, there's perpendicular, perfect, there. You just really kind of have to pay attention to what your O-snaps are showing you. So there's perpendicular. If I came over here, see that one I've got an X appearing, that's the intersection. That's not what I want, but I want that one, there's my perpendicular symbol, and click. So there's kind of where those work. Okay. So now, next, let's look at our next set. I'm going to leave endpoint on for a little bit. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to turn endpoint off. Let's look at our next ones. Let's go tangent, nearest. Apparent intersection we're going to skip, and we'll go to parallel. All right. So real quick, a couple words about apparent intersection. Apparent intersection is more so when you're working in 3D. So, for example, right now we're drawing in the X and Y planes, right to left, up and down. The in and out on your screen would be the Z plane. Right now we're drawing on the 0 Z plane. If I came up above that and drew in the positive 1 Z plane, it would look like lines would intersect, but they wouldn't actually intersect because they're on different planes, and that's where apparent intersection would come in handy. I've never actually had a need or a use for apparent intersection, but that is what it is. We're not going to draw stuff in 3D just to use it. All right, but now, let's look at these next three. All right, first off, tangent. I'm going to go L for line. And actually, when I did this, I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't do this last time when we went over this. Nearest turned on and tangent both turned on. It doesn't work well. Because now I'm trying to get a tangent point to this circle, and all that's appearing is a nearest point. So here, all that's appearing is nearest point. It's really hard. So I'm actually going to go over there real quick and turn off nearest. We'll come back to it in a second. So now my line's attached out here to nowhere. If I come over to my circle, notice the little circle with a slash appears. That's your tangent point. If I click all the way down here, notice my line moves all the way up, and it makes it nice and a pretty tangent line. If I go to here, come over to this one again, wherever my green appears, I click, and it makes that nice tangent line. Just get a couple tangent lines in there, play with tangent for just a second, and you'll kind of see what tangent does. That next drawing, lesson 5, you'll use tangent a bunch. So tangent is a good one. All right, last one here is parallel. Parallel is kind of a neat one. Again, I don't use parallel a lot, but here's kind of how parallel works. All right, I'm going to start over here next to this one. I'm just going to start a line here-ish. I'm going to hover over top of this other line. and get my parallel symbol to show up. Come on, there we go. Now drag it out. There we go. It first locked into my polar, but now it locked into a parallel angle to that line. So I'm going to come down here a little bit like so. And now I want to be parallel to this other one. So I'm going to hover over it. And there I got a nice parallel line there. I'm going to hover over top of this one. There's my nice parallel line there. And we can kind of just trace around some stuff doing parallels. So here, do a nice parallel. Oh, not that one. There's a nice parallel line. And it just kind of locks in there. So again, I can come up here, hover over that one, and do a parallel line there. So it just makes lines parallel to other lines if you hover over it and recognize it to where it's parallel. All right. I think we're probably good on parallel lines there. All right. There's parallel. All right. Our last one is nearest. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to turn on nearest now once again with these other ones on. For nearest, we're going to come in here, just L for line. And you kind of saw it when I was doing it before. Nearest is one that, okay, let's say I wanted the end of this line, but I come over here and I click there. Well, I didn't actually get the end point of it. If I come over here and click, there, I want the end point, but I'm actually not getting the end point. I'm getting close to it. I'm getting near it, but I'm not getting right on it. You can kind of trick it and come in from this direction and usually get a nearest point or an end point. Let's see if I did well there. I actually did. But nearest is one that I tell you guys when we're going through this. I told this to the other group the other day. Nearest is sometimes kind of evil. And I kind of say that jokingly, but nearest is kind of evil because a lot of times when you're trying to get a point to the end point or to the midpoint or to whatever, if you have nearest turned on, you don't actually get the points you're looking for. You get close to that point, but not there. Nearest does have its uses sometimes. Before when we drew these drawings, I'd have you start over here, overlap across, and then trim it off like so. If you were using nearest, you could attach to a nearest point and go ahead and go out here like so and do that. But more times than not, nearest is going to do things that you don't want it to do. So I usually just trim instead of using nearest. That's just kind of me. I'm a little bit old school there. But if I see you drawing a bunch with nearest on, I'm probably going to say, turn nearest off. It's just not going to do you any good. So try to avoid nearest when you're drawing. Also try to avoid drawing with just all of your O-snaps on. O-snaps are very handy and very useful unless you have those O-snaps set. And then it's not very handy or very useful because you're going to be snapping to so many things on your screen, it's not going to be helping you. So try to get some that are logical to use. A lot of times I will use endpoint, midpoint, center, and maybe intersection. Those four are four good ones to have on that are very useful, and you can tell pretty easily what they're doing. All right, there you go. Submit this one as lesson 4, and that was great.